staying with us to discuss more updates. Iran has executed Mehdi Hassini and Beirut's Ehsani-Eslamloo, members of the banned opposition group Mujahideen-e-Khalq, or otherwise known as the MEK, for attacking civilian infrastructure with homemade projectiles. The judiciary said the two were operational elements of MEK and were sentenced to death in September 2024, with the Supreme Court upholding the verdict and denying a retrial. The defendants were charged with Moharabe, which means waging war against God, destruction of public property, and membership in a terrorist organization aiming to disrupt national security. Amnesty International condemned the trial as grossly unfair, citing torture, forced confessions, and lack of legal representation. The MEK, once a militant group opposing the Shah and later the Islamic Republic, has been active in exile for decades. We are once again joined by Madhav Nalapat, who is the editor of the Sunday Guardian, to discuss this further. Professor Nalapat, what does this trial say about the legal system in Iran? These two have been sentenced to death for something which Amnesty International says was grossly unfair, that there was torture involved even. What does this say about possible opposition in Iran and what treatment that they will face?
Well, I'd like to say that it's very unfortunate that you have a system in Iran, a governance system, in which there is a very tight and, if I may say so, to some people, very cruel control. And the Mujahideen-e-Khalq, I think, is scenting blood. They know that the Iranian regime is becoming weak. You're seeing what's happening in Gaza. You're seeing what's happening in Lebanon and in Iran itself. So a lot of attacks have been there. So from that point of view, I think they're scenting an opportunity. And the fact that they're using crude homemade devices indicates that there's no external hand behind this. They see an opportunity finally in which the clerical regime is basically, under siege, and the clerical regime is vulnerable, and they're moving ahead as a consequence of that. So I think this kind of attack, regrettable though it is going to happen. As for what is happening in terms of the Iranian legal system, well, if you oppose the clerics, let's say you oppose supreme leader, well, if you go before the Iranian system, then you can do it in a very peaceful way. But I think that legal system is not going to treat you very kindly. So I'd like to point out that in India, for example, Ajmal Kasab, who was caught by a very brave constable Omble, who paid with his life for catching this man, and he was, were given. Everybody has been given a fair trial, if I may say so, whether it is terrorists, for example, in Kashmir, or whether it is others, they've been given a fair trial. But then India is a democracy, and I don't think Iran can qualify as a democracy. It's very sad for the people of Iran. They have a very noble civilization and culture, and I think personally they're extremely unhappy with the clerical regime, but unfortunately they are still stuck with that. So in my personal view, I think the Mujahideen-e-Khalq, which is definitely a terror organization in the sense that it uses violence and terror to achieve its ends, definitely a terror organization, is now sensing an opportunity and moving in for the kill, regrettably the kill of so many innocent people as well.
Yes. Professor Madhav Nalapat, thank you very much for joining us on the program. Now let's move over